All right, we got to talk about AI context. What if there was an easier way to give AIs all the context they need to help us code without a bunch of crappy, confusing infrastructure surrounding that process? What if there was a radically simple way that's genuinely the answer to get humans and our AI coding buddies on the same page? Well, stick around because we're going to find out. All right, so Aiden Bai posted this on Twitter, 9 different AI rule file formats. Count them. That's 9 different ones competing. And some of them are pretty popular and they conflict. And, like 3 more popped up while I'm doing this video. We're building new layers of configuration hell just to tell the AI what the hell our code is about. It's madness. It doesn't make any sense. And this is the result, right? This is I call it the pain train that we're all on. We manually pick files until our fingers bleed. We set up these weird DBs and like CI rules and try and hack our way with MCPs and whatever the hell Cursor and Windsurf are doing in the background. We sprinkle in little AI rules, AI folders all over the place. And what happens? It's chaos. The AI still gets lost. And then we get ourselves lost. And then we change the code base and all those rules are out of date. And then the AI tries to fix something along with the rules, not knowing that we changed our way of doing things, and then screws up the code base again. It feels like we're just adding more duct tape and more complexity, and it's really not helping. So I have a radical plan. Forget all that. Just write good READMEs. I'm serious. One great comprehensive README at every damn level. Project, directory, file, even good function doc strings and file doc strings that act like mini READMEs. Why? Because AI has zero fear of word count. It'll write them for us. It doesn't get bored. It doesn't get lazy. We can finally have the exhaustive documentation that any new person onto a project would have wished for, and the AI will actually read it. So what am I actually proposing? What would a supercharged README in this world look like? Well, here's a simple example. It's just clear markdown, maybe some optional XML tags if you want tools to parse it easier. But it's things like, what is the architecture? What is the purpose? What is the architecture? What are the contents? Instead of deciding, when and where to add a file tree. And file trees can be confusing because it doesn't actually tell you what each of the files are for. You have to guess by hopefully good naming conventions, but that's not enough. Add a little line in the context that just tells you what this component inside the directory does. References to dependencies inside the project. Key decisions that were made describing what we did and why we're building things a certain way. It's not rocket surgery, but it's just clarity everywhere. And the AIs will write it for us. So this nested README's idea. I'm calling it fractal knowledge. And it's just having READMEs referencing and explaining their children. The main project README is your 10,000 foot view. Each directory README covers its slice of the pie. Each file's docstring explains its specific job. And maybe for important classes and functions, you have another level. It's the same kind of info, just zoomed in or out. Consistent structure, scaled detail, that's it. You don't need a ton of complicated AI rules, AI docs on the side of your code, different ones for different tools, confusion about what's getting indexed when. Just put it all with the code. So why am I on this crusade for READMEs? One reason is I remember when I was first learning to code, or even today, the first time that I jump into a project that has a bunch of existing code, I open a README hoping to find enlightenment about what this project is and how it works. But what do I get? It's just setup instructions. Pip install this, npm install that, run npm dev as if nobody thought of that before. It creates a horrible first impression for humans, first of all. And second of all, the AI that's not helpful for them either. So if we beef up the READMEs, it fixes that first horrible impressions for humans. And when AIs go to a natural place to find context about a project, which is a README, we don't need to create a bunch of extra folders and locations for information about what a project is. They look in the README for consistent ground truth, and it's right next to the code that they're trying to understand. And another key element of this is it makes your documentation diff cleanly with your code changes because they live together. You don't have to remember every time you update your code or update your AI rules files to check if the code or the rules files are actually aligned with each other, because it's all right there. And it kills two birds with one stone. When humans go and look at this, now we have clarity into a new code base. And increasingly, code bases are going to be written by AIs. And so there's not going to be any human that can explain it to you because humans haven't looked at the code before. So the first bird is it provides human clarity, and the second bird is it gives the AI context. And then finally, just in my own small tests, this approach lets me delete almost all of the rules files. Maybe I have, one or two project-wide rules files, but that's only because that's what the IDEs I'm using are asking for. And in those rules files, I mainly just tell them to read the READMEs. And it deletes all of that extra complication. You don't have to worry about, I want to work with Claude Code today. Do I have my Claude.md set up? Or I want to use RuCode or Cursor or Windsurf. Do I have the right AI rules set up for them? We don't have to cobble all that stuff together anymore. So I know this probably isn't a silver bullet. There's probably things that I'm overlooking here, but I'm making a call to get back to basics, but with an AI-powered twist. I've created a template that I put on GitHub that just has my ideas for the tags that every README should have and every file docstring should have. It's up on GitHub, linked in the description below. I'm not trying to propose it as like a rigid standard, but I want it to be a thought starter. I want us to think, is there a radically simpler way to approach giving context to our AIs than all this, product specific, IDE specific rule infrastructure? So grab it, fork it, prove me wrong, find an even better way. But at least for now, I'm giving up on all the cursor rules, windsurf rules, all that stuff, and going with a radically simpler way that's much closer to the code and much closer to what I would want to read. So there you go. Let's continue building on fire. I don't know. I don't have a tagline yet.